बोले वृंदावन बिहारी लाल की जय। प्रथमं सद्गुरुं वन्दे श्रीकृष्णं तदनन्तरं गुरुः पापात्मनां त्राता श्रीकृष्णस्त्वमलात्मना चेतोदर्पणमार्जनं भवमहादावाग्नि निर्वापनम् श्रेयः कैरवचन्द्रिका वितरणं विद्यावधूजीवनम् आनन्दाम्बुधिवर्धनं प्रतिपदं पूर्णामृता स्वादनम् सर्वात्मस्नपनं परं विजयते श्रीकृष्ण संकीर्तनम् नमः कमलना भाय नमः कमलमालिने नमः कमलपादाय नमस्ते कमलेक्षण यो ब्रह्माणं विदधाति पूर्वं यो वै वेदांश्च प्रहिणोति तस्मै तद्ध्वं देवमात्मबुद्धिप्रकाशम् मुमुक्षुर्वै शरणमहं प्रपद्ये। बोले वृंदावन बिहारी लाल की जय। सियावर रामचंद्र की जय। प्रिय सज्जनों, दिव्यात्माओं, Mahanuभाव, dearest devotees of the Supreme Lord, divine souls. First let me say Radhe Radhe to each and everyone, and my pranam, my humblest prostrations to all of you. Also to our viewers on social media, Facebook, YouTube, Bhakti TV, etc. A very special welcome to all of you, Radhe Radhe, and pranam to you all also. Today is the last session of this series of talks based on that most divine and most wonderful book called Bhakti Shatak. It's composed and written by Jagat Guru Tam Shri Kripalu Mahaprabhu. Many, many books have been written, and all wonderful, divine, but this one is also very special. Only 100 doha, 100 dohas, couplets, but the philosophy of all the Vedic scriptures, Vedas, Puran, Mahabharata, Gita, Ramayana, all the scriptures have been filled in these 100 dohas, the 100 couplets. We've been listening, my commentary, not the commentary of Jagat Guru Tam Shri Kripalu Mahaprabhu, He's also written briefly on this, but according to the philosophy that he has given to us, in my own way I've been trying to explain these verses. And sometimes I'm a little bit different. And of course, as I mentioned, these dohas are so filled with so much philosophy, no one can really explain briefly. We can go days upon days and still not be able to explain fully any one of these doha. Anyhow, so this is the last session in this series, and we'll see how many of them we can do. I wouldn't be going into much detail. Some of them, the philosophy has been repeated. As I mentioned, in the scriptures, there are not too many things. The philosophy is the same, but the saints and Bhagwan, they keep repeating one thing over and over. One thing has been said 100 times, 1,000 times. Gita, we've been told over and over, surrender, surrender, surrender. Could have just said one time, surrender to me. But so many different ways Sri Krishna is telling us to surrender. The only way is to surrender to Him. So one thing has been said over and over, with the hope eventually this will go and sit in our intellect. Buddhi mein baith jayenge. So in the same way, in these dohas, sometimes you'll see the philosophy being repeated. So there's no need to go back into great detail. As in all the scriptures, again and again, some philosophy is being told. Divine philosophy. That somehow this will get into our head, into our intellect. This is what the reality is. So last night we completed doha number 57. This doha basically said the action, जो महापुरुष और भगवान की जो कार्य है, actions of God and the saint, those who have attained God, is only for one reason. Paropakar, jivo ka paropakar, for the upliftment of us worldly souls. Look, we do actions in the world. Good, some good actions, some bad actions, some mixture. We always perform an action. And the actions we perform is for a reason. We're looking for something. We're looking for happiness. We haven't attained it, not even the tiniest drop. From beginning this time. Not even the tiniest drop we've attained, not even in dream. Once even. Because we've been looking in the wrong place. But we keep doing action. We can't remain inactive even for a moment. Nahi kashchit kshanamapi jatu tishthatya karmakrit. Chapter 3, verse 5, Gita. Shri Krishna says it's impossible for the individual soul on the Maya to remain inactive even for a moment. Kshanamapi. So our action is all with some selfish desire. Iska koi swarth hai. But God and the saints, God who is bliss personified, He Himself is ras, bliss, raso vai saha, went in detail yesterday. And the saint, when one attains God realization, everything that Sri Krishna has, He gives to that soul. Dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mamupayanti te. Chapter 10, verse 10. Complete knowledge, complete bliss, complete divinity, everything complete. So they should not do any action. We are incomplete, we want something, so we are performing action. But God and the saints should not. The fact is, they continue doing action, but for one reason only, to bless us. to uplift us. Whatever God and the saints do, it's only paropakar, benevolence. The actions are only for the benefit of others. They don't need anything. They are purnamadaha, purnamidam purnat purnamadachyate, purnasya purnamadaya purnameva vashishyate. Infinite bliss, infinite knowledge, everything infinite. You subtract infinite from infinite, it remains infinite. So their actions only for one reason. But it looks just like ours. The actions look, and we get confused. Number 58. Jai Radhe Krishna Radhe, Radhe Radhe Krishna Radhe.
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 हरि हरि जन के आचरण मायामय मत जान राधे राधे.
हरि हरि जन के आचरण मायामय मत जान राधे राधे.
उनके चरित अलौकिक माया क्रीडा मान राधे राधे.
उनके चरित अलौकिक माया क्रीड़ा मान राधे राधे.
जय राधे कृष्ण राधे, राधे राधे कृष्ण 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 राधे.
हरि हरिजन के आचरण मायामय मत जान. Don't ever judge or think the action of God and the saints to be material like ours. It looks like ours outwardly. They also come in the world. God comes, He has parents. He is the father of the entire universe, Jagat Pita. But He has parents. Kaushilya, Dashrath, Devaki, Vasudev, Nanda Baba, Yashoda. He is called Yashoda Nandan, Devaki Nandan, etc. The son of Devaki, son of Yashoda, son of Dashrath, etc. So he has parents, he has brother, sister, he gets married, he has a wife. उनकी पत्नी भी है, सीता, रुक्मिणी, सत्यभामा, etc. He has children also. Love and Kush. When he came as Sri Krishna, he got married to 16,108 queens. All Mahapurush. Who can be the wife of Bhagwan? No ordinary person. He's all Mahapurush. And with each one of those queens, 10 children. A whole big city himself, and they also had children. He goes to sleep, he eats, fight, everything just like us in the world. So we not understanding, and because we don't have divine eyesight, we mistake God and the saint to be material just like ours. We judge their actions to be material, and we end up causing harm to ourselves. भक्त हेतु भगवान प्रभु राम धरऊ तनु भूप किए चरित पावन परम परम पावन किए चरित पावन परम लेकिन प्राकृत नर अनुरूप. For the sake of us souls in the world, the Lord descends in the world. He takes a form. Every action he performs is supremely sacred, divine, purifying. But outwardly, he behaves just like an ordinary man, ordinary person. We have to be very careful. No, unke charitra alaukik. Alaukik means, so laukik, alaukik. Laukik means worldly, material. And in Sanskrit or Hindi, you put a before a word, it means the opposite. So laukik, worldly, alaukik, divine, that which is not worldly. His whole life is alaukik, divine. Janma karma chame divya. He says through Arjun in the Gita, Arjun, my birth as well as my action, they are divine, divya. We can't understand. People think that, oh, Kaushilya, Devaki, they all had the symptoms just like any mother in the world who is pregnant. The stomach increased, they had morning sickness, everything. And after 9 months, the child came from the womb, God came from the womb. So what's the difference between him and us? Big difference. First to begin, God was never in the womb. Garbhe chavayuna purne nirlipto bhagavan swayam hit padma koshi devakhya adhishtanam chakaraha. Brahma Vaivat Puran. Veda Vyas, descension of Sri Krishna, is saying there was no baby in the womb. It was Vayu. Vayu means wind, Hawa. Not the wind of the world, like she had gas, no. Divine wind. Yog Maya. Hrit Padma Koshi Devakhya. Sitting in the heart of Devaki, Kaushilya, the Lord made them feel they had a baby. But there was no baby. And just like you take a soccer ball and you keep pumping air, and the ball gets bigger and bigger and bigger, in the same way from inside, Bhagwan is pumping divine air. At the time of divine revelation, like you pull out the valve stem from the soccer ball, the ball gets flat. Bhagwan took out the divine air and he appeared. He appeared. Bhai pragat kripala deen dayala kaushalya hitakari harshit mahatari. He appeared, Char Bhuja. Tam adbhutam balakam ambhujekshanam chaturbhujam shankagada. A 16-year-old boy appeared before Kaushilya, before Devaki, upholding weapons. Shank, Chak, Gada, Padma. That chakra is so sharp, it can destroy the entire universe. The heat of the gada, mace, is greater than millions of suns. These kind of weapon came out of the womb of a mother and didn't massacre the womb? Impossible. In 16-year-old boy. So there was no baby in the womb. Bhagwan appeared. So his birth is divine, action is divine. They're not material like ours. But avajananti mamurha manushim tanumashitam param bhavam ajananto mama bhuta maheshwaram. Chapter 9 verse 11 Gita. Shri Krishna says, Arjun, unaware of my divine nature, that I am the Supreme Lord, I am divine, my action is also divine. Ignorant human beings under the control of Maya, we people, we mistake him to be an ordinary human being like ourselves. That's why we don't benefit. So, neither God nor the saint know their action. This is just a play. Krida, Leela, divine pastime. It's acted. It's play. It's sport. That's all. It's all divine. 59. Jai Radhe Krishna Radhe 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 Krishna Radhe
Jai Radhe Krishna Radhe 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 Krishna Radhe
Hari Hari Jan ke Atpate Charit na buddhi lakhi paaye Radhe Radhe
Hari Hari Chan ke Atpate Charit na buddhi lagi Radhe Radhe
Ati vichitra gati दून की रसिक ही समुझी सखाए राधे राधे
अति विचित्र गति दुहुल की रसिक ही समुझी सखाए राधे राधे
जय राधे कृष्ण राधे 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 कृष्ण राधे
जय राधे कृष्ण राधे 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 कृष्ण राधे
बोले वृंदावन बिहारी लाल की जय।
जय
हरि हरि जन के कार्य अटपटे। The actions of God and the saints, they are, if somebody is drunk, don't seem to have any control. कभी भूत के ऊपर चढ़े, उनके ऊपर. Sometimes it looks like this. They are under the control of some external spirit, ghost. A ghost is controlling them. Sometimes like they're totally intoxicated from alcohol or some drug. And so it's beyond our intellect. We have in our mind what we think a saint should be or God should be. What we think we know what is good and what is bad. वो यो पाप है या पुण्य. We think we know what is pap and what is pun. And so we judge the actions of God and the saint. Sada pashyanti surya tat vishnu paramam padam. Subalopanishad. One who is beyond, gone, attained God realization or Bhagavan, either Bhagavan or one who has attained Bhagavan, Maya can no longer affect him. They will do all the work of Maya, worse than us. Yet there is no consequences. They are beyond Maya. Look, when someone is going to school, somebody is going to university, college, you have to have attendance, or else you would not be able to write your exam. Certain amount of attendance. Somebody has already finished university, finished college, he's got the degree. No one questions the person, hey, how come we don't see you anymore? You don't come for attendance? I'm finished. Khatam ho gaya, finish. So they have gone beyond Maya. God himself is beyond Maya. And those who've attained him, they are also beyond Maya. So whatever action they perform, whether it's God or the saints, their actions do not bear fruits. It's beyond Maya. If we do certain action, we do good action, we get good fruits. Punyena punya lokam neti papena papam bhabhyamev manushya lokam. The Vedas say, you do good action, you're going to get good fruits. You'll go to heaven, etc. You do bad action, you get bad fruit, you go to hell. You do a mixture of good and bad actions, you come back in the material world in the 8.4 million forms of life. You do neither good nor bad. You attain moksha, and you go beyond the desire for moksha, you attain bhakti, the highest attainment. This is for us, the worldly soul. God and the saints are not bounded by this. An example, there was a great devotee by the name of Pundarik Vidyanidhi. He lived during the dissension period of Gaurang Mahaprabhu. Gaurang Mahaprabhu, as you know, dissension of Sri Radha Krishna. So during that same dissension period, there was a great saint by the name of Pundarik Vidyanidhi. Once Gaurang Mahaprabhu said to the satsangis, "Aye, aaj picnic chalenge. Today we are going picnic." So everybody got excited. Maharaji is going picnic. We are going to visit a saint. Visit a saint? The satsangis started wondering, there's another saint here? We are going to go and I'm going to visit Pundarik Vidyanidhi. If you want to come with me, chalo. Ab sab satsangi sochne lage Pundarik Vidyanidhi. Everybody had an idea about Pundarik Vidyanidhi. He seemed to live a life of great luxury. Great luxury. His lifestyle was more luxurious than even a king. He slept on a golden ornamented bed with silken sheets. He wore the most refined and silken clothes, beautiful clothes. He applied perfume oil to his hair. His whole palace only filled with girls. Jitna sevika sab ladki. Everybody had in their mind this was a very worldly person. He seemed to be living in such luxury. Most people think that a saint is one who is totally detached from the world. Even many of the devotees, they had been detached from the world ever since they began practicing bhakti from their childhood itself. They were such great sadhak. From the childhood they were detached totally from the world. They wondered, how could this Pundarik Vidyanidhi be a saint? And Gaurang Mahaprabhu is going to meet him. Maharaji. Lekin Maharaji ja rahe, to sab gaye piche. Maharaji is going, so everybody is following. They went, came in front of the palace, that mansion, like a palace of Pundarik Vidyanidhi. message, someone came and, oh, Gaurang Mahaprabhu. They did pranam. Gaurang Mahaprabhu said, "Kaha hai Vidyanidhi? Where is Pundarik?" "Oh, Maharaj, abhi bulate." They ran to call him. All the devotees are looking. All the satsangis. Pundarik Vidyanidhi came. He almost fell on Gaurang Mahaprabhu. Both embraced each other, both crying. अब कई सत्संगियों के दिमाग खराब हो गए. Many of the satsangi there, they became so aghast with what's happening. They started doubting Mahaprabhu also. He's embracing such a worldly person. लेकिन बहुत से सत्संगी, many of the satsangis thought, भैया, don't put your mind here. This is Gaurang Mahaprabhu. If he is embracing him, then he must be a great saint. Do not apply your intellect. Forget this. Take a blessing. But there was one satsangi, his name was Gadadhar. Gadadhar. He got so, seeing this action, he got so crazy, his head felt as though it was going to split open. He started doubting Mahaprabhu also. Is Mahaprabhu a saint? अब सब सत्संगियों वापस गए गौरांग महाप्रभु के साथ. Everybody went back after this meeting to the ashram. Gadadhar didn't go back. Now there was certain seva that Gadadhar alone did. Mahaprabhu is asking today, where is Gadadhar? Nobody knows. Whole day he didn't come. Late in the night he came. Mahaprabhu asks, "Bhai Gadadhar, kya hua? What happened?" "Oh Maharaji, I don't know. My head is bursting." "Kyo? Why?" "Oh Maharaji, I saw you over there embracing this very worldly person. Everyone knows how worldly this Pundarik Vidyanidhi is, and you embraced him. I got so confused, my head is spinning, I like it want to burst open, I didn't eat the whole day. I almost didn't want to come back satsang." Mahaprabhu smiled. Then he said, "Pundarik Vidyanidhi, Gadadhar, leave satsang. So long you have been in the satsang, so much lecture you have been listening, up to now you do not know someone is not a saint by what he does externally. If we were to judge externally somebody is a saint, the way they dress, what they eat, etc., then there are many people who dress in orange clothes, they have committed murder. So that the police will not catch them. If you to judge externally, Lakhi suvesh jagavan chakajeu vesh patap pujya hitehu. Then you will end up worshipping a fake impostor. Up to now you have understood. So long you have been in satsang. Get out. Go and beg for forgiveness from Pundarik Vidyanidhi. Don't come back. If he forgive you, fine. If he forgives you, make him your guru. Surrender to him. If he forgives you, fine, then come back. Or else don't even come back in the satsang." So, God and the saints, their action, we should not judge externally. If you have come to the conclusion somebody is a saint, don't look outwardly, in other words. Bahari mat dekho. This is what we do. We look outwardly. Uncountable time we have met saint. We have seen Bhagavan, but जाकी रही भावना जैसी प्रभु मूर्ति देखी तीन तैसी. How we are on the inside, we judge, and for that reason, instead of benefiting, we end up losing. Hani. So we have to be very careful. We can get the greatest benefit. Sabse bada labh, the greatest benefit in associating with a true saint, a true guru. There's no greater blessing than to have the association of a true saint. But we can get the greatest harm also. You don't have to say or do anything, just thinking. Think wrong thought, nama prad, unpardonable sin. So we have to be very careful. Understand that God and the saints, they didn't perform action like us. Prahalad, while Prahalad was in the womb of his mother, he accepted Naraji as his guru. Garbha mein the. In the womb he accepted Naraji as guru. And he got all the knowledge in the womb. As a little boy, Bhagwan came for him. Nisim Bhagwan, half man, half lion. Little boy, he attained everything. And then Prahalad, and Bhagwan told Prahalad, Prahalad, rule the whole world, one king, for one manvantar. One manvantar, the age of Manu. 306,720,000 years. Raj kijiye. Prahalad had a son. After that, after God realization, he got married, he had a son. Now we may wonder, where did the child come from? Did the child, that son, fall from the sky? No. He came from the womb of the mother. So then Prahalad must have lost just like me. Because for us to perform action of lust in order to have a child, we have to have lust. So Prahalad must have lust, Shri Ram must have lust. How did he get love and Kush? Shri Krishna is having 10 children with every queen. So he has lost also. You see, we are like a little child, 5-year-old child, who doesn't understand lust, that hasn't come in the mind as yet. So it's very difficult for him to understand how his mother and father can bring a child in the world. Because that lust hasn't, that dosh hasn't come in his mind as yet. It's better for him to understand the stock bought the child or something. It's very difficult. He's more likely to think the parents are lying to him. So this power called Yog Maya, not Maya. Bhagwan and the saints, there's a special power they have called Yog Maya. Bhagwan is the governor of Yog Maya, and Yog Maya governs the saints. Both have Yog Maya. The actions of God and the saints are performed only through Yog Maya. They don't do anything. Yog plus Maya. In other words, Yog means they are always divine on the inside, divine beyond Maya. And outwardly, they perform all the works of Maya. They can perform action of anger, yet have no anger. Durvasa Muni. Oh, he's always angry. Everyone is scared of Durvasa. He is Muni, saint, Mahapurush. They have no lust, can perform action of lust. They come in the world, get married, have children. It's difficult for us to understand. How can Kripalu Mahaprabhu be the greatest saint? Jagat Guru Tam, not only Jagat Guru, and he got married and he has children. Gaurang Mahaprabhu, got married twice. So, Yog Maya. No action, no greed, yet seen perform an action of greed. Asking for money. Hey, a coffee pilao. Give me coffee to drink, give me this, give me that. Seva. And then the intellect gets crazy. Oh my God, everything is money, money, money. You see, because we are so attached. The scriptures tell us we have to surrender. What to surrender? The thing which you are most attached to. जिसमें सबसे ज्यादा आसक्ति है उसी को समर्पित करो. Guru को, भगवान को. The thing that you're most, and what will be most attached to? This body and the paisa. We don't want to give it. So Guru forcibly makes us do it. Not only that, to surrender, but we are supposed to do dan. At least 10%, dashansh, which we're not going to do, especially in this Kali Yuga. So for our benefit, for our sake, Guru doesn't take. He has given us. We don't understand. For our benefit, he makes us do what we don't want to do. And then we apply our mind and we start giving him bad name, money guru, this, because of our attachment, not understanding that he's given us the highest blessing. So we judge externally. Remember, whatever God and the saints, especially the saint, whatever the saint does, parupakar bachan man kaya Sant sahaj swabhav khagaraya. By words, thoughts and deed, everything they do is only for parupakar, for our benefit, our upliftment. They will never do anything to harm us. They get harmed, they get bad name. Propaganda people in the world, because we don't understand that they are doing the greatest paropakar for us. So we have to be very, very careful. Understand that the actions of God and the saint are performed through that special power of Bhagwan called Yog Maya. Kartum samarthaha. That which makes the impossible possible. Something seems to be happening, but is not happening. Like the child in the womb. It seems as though Kaushalya has a baby. It seems as though Devaki has a baby. No baby. Yoga Maya. That is what Yoga Maya is. Not easy to understand. Not very easy to understand, but we have to keep convincing the mind, the intellect, that God and the saints, whatever action they perform, one is only for the benefit of us worldly souls. Two, it has been done through that special power called Yoga Maya. Number 60. Jai Radhe Krishna Radhe, Radhe Radhe Krishna Radhe, Jai Radhe
Krishna Radhe, Radhe Radhe Krishna Radhe,
Jai Radhe Krishna Radhe, Radhe Radhe Krishna Radhe,
Jai Radhe Krishna Radhe, Radhe Radhe Krishna Radhe.
Dui Maya ik vidya, apar avidya तात राधे राधे.
Dui Maya ek vidya,
पर अविद्या तात
राधे राधे.
जाति अविद्या ज्ञान ते विद्या भक्त ही जात राधे राधे जाति
विद्या ज्ञान दे विद्या भक्त
ही जात
राधे राधे
जय राधे कृष्ण राधे 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 कृष्ण 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 राधे.
So this has been discussed in detail before already, in one verse before. There are two kinds of Maya. Bhagwan Shri Ram himself is saying to Lakshman in Chitrakoot, Lakshman had asked the question, what is Maya? Ye Maya kya hai? Bhagwan said, Tehi kar bhed sunahu tum do, vidya apar avidya do. There are two kinds of Maya. One is Vidya Maya, one is Avidya Maya. I mentioned before, Maya has three qualities. Ajam ekam lohit shukla krishnam bahavi prajaha srijamanam swarupaha ajohe ko jushamanunushet jahatenam bhukta bhogam ajonyah. Shvetashvatara chapter 4 verse 5. Maya has three qualities. The Vedas are saying Sattvagun, Rajogun, Tamogun. Sattvagun, the mode of goodness. Rajogun, the mode of passion, ambition. Tamogun, the mode of laziness, inertia, evil, bad thoughts, desires, bad desires, etc. So Sattvagun alone, that is Vidya Maya. And Rajogun plus Tamogun, that is Avidya Maya. Vidya Maya is also called Gunavarika Maya. And Avidya Maya is also called Sarupa Varika Maya. Many names in the scriptures. Now, not in Kali Yuga, not in Kali Yuga. In other ages, Satyug, Treta Yuga, Dwapar, etc., the Gyanis, those following the path of Gyan, were able to destroy Avidya Maya. Through knowledge, through the path of Gyan. By practicing that I am the soul, my Atma hu, my Atma, I'm not the body, I'm not the body. The more that knowledge gets firm, just convincing the mind through knowledge. This is not possible in Kali Yuga, remember. The mind, Arjuna is saying how difficult this mind is to control. Chanchalami mana Krishna pramati balabhadirham tasyaham nigaham manye vayurivasu dushkaram. Chapter 6 verse 34, Gita. Shri Krishna is telling Arjuna, control the mind, control the mind. Arjuna says, how to control this mind? It is so strong, turbulent and unyielding. It is more difficult to control the mind than it is to control the wind. So, to be able to convince the mind that I am not the body, I am the soul, think how difficult. Shri Krishna agreed. Asanshaya mahabaho manu durnigraham chalam. I agree with you, Arjun, 100%. Mine is difficult to control. Not impossible, it can be done. How? Abhyas indru kaunteya vairagyena cha grihyate. Through constant practice. Through constantly telling the mind, I am soul, I am Atma, I am the Atma, I am not the body. This is a Gyan, part of Gyan. This happens automatically in the path of bhakti. You don't have to do that. But in the path of jnana, so through jnana, not in Kali Yuga, in other ages, the jnani was able, the yogi and the jnani, they were able to become free. No one destroys Maya, become free from avidya Maya. Sattva gun, tamo gun, rajo gun. They realize I am the soul, I am not the body. They became free from material desires. Nasho chati nakang shati. Brahma bhuta prasannatma nasho chati nakang shati. No longer grieves or desires for anything in the material world. They realize I am the soul, ka Brahma bhut. Self-realized soul. But that he still falls. So the jnani, they were able to destroy avidya, but to destroy, to become free, destroy what is bad, to become free from vidya maya, sattva gun, that requires bhakti. The same verse I just told you, Brahma bhuta prasannat manasho chatina kangshati sama sarveshu bhuteshu mad bhaktim labhate param. Without bhakti, that jnani will fall again and again. Vidya maya, because he is not crossed vidya maya. Sattva gun. That world we see around us, that is vidya maya. As I mentioned before, as long as a jnani, when you realize I am the soul, the Atma, self-realization as it's called, Atma Jnani, that person goes in samadhi, meditational trance, spiritual trance. As long as he remains in that samadhi, he's safe. But the moment he opens his eyes, Vidya Maya will take hold and he falls. And one of the best example we have, Jar Bharat in Bhagavad Mahapuran. Paramhans to the highest, and yet he got attached to a deer. That is the Vidya Maya. So to become free from Vidya Maya, he has to do bhakti. Sri Krishna makes it clear. Daivi hesha gunamai mama maya duratyaya mame vaye prapadyante maya metantarantite. Chapter 7 verse 14. Sri Krishna says, only the one who completely surrenders to him, bhakti, can become free from, basically he's talking about guna varikamaya, vidya maya. Then, so to become free from the effect of vidya maya, that jnani has to, even though he has attained self-realization, has become free from avidya maya, he has to come and do bhakti now. Number 61. Jai Radhe Krishna Radhe, Radhe Radhe Krishna Radhe.
Jai Radhe Krishna Radhe, Radhe Radhe Krishna Radhe.
Jnana marai day mukti pad, karma marai day swarg. Radhe Radhe.
Jnana marai day mukti pad, karma marai day swarg. Radhe Radhe.
अमर रहे एक भक्ति चाहन स्वर्ग अपवर्ग. राधे राधे.
अमर रहे एक भक्ति चहन स्वर्ग अपवर्ग. राधे राधे.
जय राधे कृष्ण राधे 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 कृष्ण राधे.
जय राधे कृष्ण राधे, राधे राधे कृष्ण राधे.
जय राधे कृष्ण राधे 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 कृष्ण राधे.
जय राधे कृष्ण राधे, राधे राधे कृष्ण राधे।
So, the path, three paths mainly, Gyan, Karma and Bhakti. I'm going to be able to go in great detail here. Time is almost finished. The path of Gyan, one who follows the path of Gyan, that Gyani, as I said, impossible in Kali Yuga. Kali Yuga Jogana Jagya Gyana. Can't do in Kali Yuga. Anyhow, so one who follows the path of Gyan, what does Gyan give? Mukti. A person merges into the formless aspect of Sri Krishna. Kaivalya Mukti, Ekatva Mukti, many names. Sayujya Mukti. So he merges into the formless aspect of Sri Krishna and Gyan dies. The Gyani follows the path first, Tattvamasi, Tattvamasi, thou art that. After that, for a long time, then he goes, Aham Brahmasmi, I am Brahma. So we discussed this. Ya Atmani Tishtati. The Vedas say, God sits in the Jivatma, the soul. Both philosophies there, Sa Pare Akshara Atmani Sampatisthate, Prashnopanishad. That Bhagwan, the Jivatma lives in Bhagwan. So one, that Bhagwan is sitting in the Jivatma, Veda is saying, and the other one, Jivatma resides in Bhagwan. Anyone, so for that reason, there's the philosophy that Paramatma and Atma are one and the same. Because they reside in each other. But they're different. And we went in detail. So, that person attains mukti, and that is the Gyan is destroyed also too. Knowledge is destroyed. Forever, he gets merged, like a river merges into the ocean. Forever. Never can come back. Can never attain bhakti. The karmi, the one who performs karma, dharma, varnashram dharma, varna, brahman, kshatriya, vaishya, shudra, varna, ashram, brahmacharya, grihasti, vanaprasti, sannyas. Many, many rules. If one can do properly, impossible in Kali Yuga also, he acquires punya. Punya, which will determine which heaven he will go to and for how long. But, as Sri Krishna says in Gita, Tetam bhuktva svargalokam vishalam kshine punye martyalokam vishanti evam tai dharmanupapanna gata gatam kama kama labhante. Chapter 9 verse 21, Gita. When one acquires punya, he goes to heaven and starts enjoying the pleasures of heaven. But, once he starts to enjoy the pleasures of heaven, what happens? Kshine punya. That punya, which is so difficult, impossible in Kali Yuga to do, it starts destroying. And one day it's going to finish. So the karma gets destroyed. Gives you heaven, the karma is destroyed. It's not amar. It gets destroyed. But bhakti, we do bhakti to get bhakti. Bhaktya sanjataya bhaktya vibhratyut pulakantanu. Bhakti is forever. There's one bhakti we do and one bhakti we're going to get. एक भक्ति हमें करना. साधन सिद्ध राम पग नेहु मोहि लखी परत भरत मत एहु. So one bhakti is a sadhan that we have to do. Sadhana bhakti. जो हम लोग करते, what we are doing in order to attain, to become free from Maya, to attain that divine bliss of Shri Radha Krishna, we are doing sadhana bhakti. And eventually when we completely surrender, our mind becomes completely pure, Through Guru's grace. All is happening through Guru's grace. But by ourselves, impossible. The only thing we can do it by ourselves. We take shelter in Guru. Because the devotee surrenders, he takes shelter, he never falls. He's always protected. So we do bhakti eventually, while the heart is purifying, Guru now starts feeding us a special Shakti of Shri Krishna called Swarupa Shakti, which makes the mind divine. Slowly, slowly. When we completely surrender, now Guru, through his grace, makes our mind divine. Then we taste the divine bliss of Shri Krishna. Everything becomes, we keep everything. All the senses, everything, but everything becomes divine. Now we can see divine Krishna. In every particle of the world, we'll see Shri Krishna. Jit dekhu tit sham mai hai. But only then, not now. We have to get the eye of Shri Krishna to see Shri Krishna. In every particle of the world, then we become like Hanuman. Siya Ram mai sab jag jani, karahu pranam jori jug pani. In every particle of the world, you'll experience the divine bliss. You will see Bhagwan everywhere in everything. So that is immortal, is never finished. So, a devotee, one who is practicing bhakti, never desires swarg, no apavarg. Swarg means heaven, apavarg means moksha, mukti. He only wants to get seva, to go to Golok and get the seva of Shri Radha Krishna, the service of Radha Krishna. Much more, but time is finished, so we'll finish here for today. Bole Vrindavan Bihari Lal ki Jai. सियावर रामचंद्र की जय, पवन सुत हनुमान की जय, श्रीमद् सद्गुरु सरकार की जय। जय जय श्री राधे, जय जय श्री राधे, जय जय